that might be it for Among Us. Just kind of winning out mid and shutting down the jungle fast with a TA, perhaps, maybe.
Someone in the chat saying I haven't changed shirts, John. It's a bit upsetting. This is a new shirt. It's my black floral shirt. It's Halloween. I'm celebrating Dietide. I thought black would kind of suit the occasion. Yesterday I was wearing my very colorful floral shirt. Very upsetting, John. People are
They
really
said
picking.
it. They say that every day, dude. They say it
Do they
every day.
really? In all
I
fairness,
actually
I
see it
I
nearly
did
every
wear the
day.
same shirt twice in a row, so
Oh,
I'll give them that.
oh,
Among
the
Us,
guilty plea.
they do go for the tiny pickup. So pretty run of the mill kind of draft here for Among Us so far. Nothing too surprising. Of course, if anyone wasn't aware, Among Us are sitting at the top of the groups right now, just in front of TNC, who are very, very close behind in the second place slot. I'm sure Among Us do want to just keep that first place spot all the way through the groups. Cignal Ultra, however, have they gone up a bit? I actually haven't checked. They're still in 8th spot, in the 8th
Yeah.
place spot. So they're currently qualified for the lower bracket. They do have a lot of series on still, so out of all the rest of the teams, it's them and MG Trust that have the most series left. So they do definitely have a chance to try and work their way up to the upper bracket, or at least secure their spot in the playoffs. But we have seen Cignal Ultra. They've been a bit. It's been very unstable with this team, I want to say. In fact, do we have a. We're paused. Okay.
Oh,
3 seconds of reserve time left and a pause comes out. Not what's going on here? Someone's disconnecting.
internet. Yeah, internet says Eris. They're having issues.
Okay.
It was Cuckoo who paused, by the way. It was a Signal that DC'd. Cuckoo paused. So
Wow.
how nice of him.
Good
How
guy,
nice.
Cuckoo, huh?
March says Cuckoo takes responsibility.
Death Prophet.
Oh, March.
Death Prophet will come out now for Cignal Ultra. So, I mean, there's the counter to the TA, which is why we kind of questioned picking TA as the second pick, is you were naturally going to get countered if you were going to run that in the mid lane. Among Us will still go down the Spectre route, so feeling confident to run the Spectre. Still a very potent hero in the current meta. Cignal Ultra, how do they respond to this Spectre?
Mm.
They have hardly any time to respond.
10 seconds.
Yeah, which is a bit unfortunate because of that disconnect, but AM. So
Wow.
there it is. The AM with Magnus, it wasn't banned out. Does slide through for Cignal Ultra. It's shaping up to be an interesting draft. AM Mag is out, DP there to push. They have a way of playing fast here with your DP Snap and Mag. The question now lies in what role are you putting your Magnus? Are you going
10
for
seconds
support
remaining.
Magnus here? Are you going for an off-lane snap? Perhaps we've seen them kind of put Jamesy on that. So we've seen them put Van on that. So we might see that happen here. Lots of options for Cignal Ultra. Among Us, Tiny out. So that means the March Phoenix is in play here, with the Tiny, of course, taking that pause 4 roll. Last picking the Cuckoo hero, perhaps here. And we'll see what they bring out. The AM is going to be a bit annoying. AM against Spectre is very tempo focused. So it's all about kind of hitting your spikes as the AM, trying to shut down the map, preventing the Spectre from farming big. Should be fairly straightforward for Cignal because they have this Magnus. So even before the Battle Fury is up, AIM's going to be farming like he has a Battle, which is going to be really useful. I don't know if you want to skip the BF though. We haven't really seen AIMs do that. They could go for the SNY disassembly play, but we've only really seen God King from China, and it's been a while since he's actually done that in the game as well.
True. Cignal Ultra, they do go for the last pick, Tidehunter, so hell of a lot of team fight here from the Cignal Ultra side. It's going to be quite hard for Among Us to actually fight into them 5v5 just based off the draft so far. And Among Us, they have one more pickup. I'm still questioning whether they are going to run this TA in the mid lane or whether they're going to do something a bit different. This should theoretically be an offlane pick for Cuckoo coming out as the last pickup, but I'm really not sure because that TA into the Death Prophet is not a very good matchup at all.
Yeah, it's not going to be a fun one for Abed in the end if they stick true with it. I mean, Abed could play it off lane. I guess if they commit the
What if
supports.
Cuckoo played it off lane, John?
That would be something. Nah, they don't go. So they don't go for something so exciting. They go with the Shaker last pick here. So it's there. They've got team fight. Abed is on the TA. Kuku on the Shaker. March in his Phoenix. Zephyr in the Tiny. IYD in that spec. And Signal Ultra. Yeah, it's looking nice. As mentioned, AM plus mag. The issue now is that you've got a Sport mag. So there's some pressure here on Signal Ultra to somehow get farm out for 4 heroes. I'd say 5. Even Snapfire is going to need some farm down the line. So the farm distribution for Signal is going to be the main issue here. You initially rush your AM and your DP and your Tidehunter. At some point, the supports will have to get some items as well. So we'll see if Signal Ultra can get that done, and we'll see if Among Us can finally get the Spectre working. It has not had a good showing here in Southeast Asia. It's been struggling. We have seen the consistent Blade Mail build. We'll see if IYD goes for that same thought process with a Blade Mail, and we'll see if Among Us kind of opts to play around at Haunt.
Gotta say though, John, in general, with this draft from Among Us, it doesn't look like a great draft, does it? Like it really, like when you look at the draft, it's a full protect one. They're gonna buy a space fit in your dream on the Spectre, but when you look at the team fight, when you look at the fact that they've got that offlane Shaker, it doesn't look very pretty in comparison to say Cignal Ultra, who have these pretty stock standard kind of ultis to use. Everything's pretty self-explanatory. It seems like this draft from Among Us is going to be somewhat complicated to execute.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Again, it's an issue of how do you fight into those team fights that Signal Ultra has. Can they hold off the push the Tidehunter wants to bring out? And their own farm distribution as well. Like the TA and Spectre need some pretty early farm. I'd say much more pressure here on Abed to find that. In an unfavorable lane, it's never fun for the TA to play from behind. So we'll see if Among Us can kind of secure that. There's a lot of expectations here on Zephyr on that support Tiny to buy that space out. We'll see. I mean, today's headline was like draft beyond your imaginations. Looks like both sides took that to heart, Mike. They really are drafting beyond their imaginations.
That they are, John. It's game one of the day. Should be a very exciting one. And we are very lucky, John. We get to watch Among Us for 2 series today. 2 in a row, in fact. So 4 games in total for these boys. And be a lot of fun. They do tend to change up the drafting quite a bit with this Among Us side, as we did see throughout the BTS Pro Series number 3.
Yeah. They have been a little bit more experimental. With March in here, it has continued to stay experimental. Cuckoo.
What's the pause for?
Cuckoo is saying that they're pretending to just disconnect. Abed's like, no, we're not like that, boss. James is like just laughing at him. I mean, you're crazy. Cuckoo.
Oh, cuckoo.
Speaking of, wait. He's saying that James, he's a bit pretty suspicious, the kind of guy to do that. He's not sure about a bot, though. Come on, Cuckoo. James, he's been like that since last year, says about. So everyone's just tossing Jamesy under the bus.
Well, we'll keep a close eye on Jamesy then.
Oh, but it's almost someone's birthday. It's either James or a bot. I'm not sure who Cuckoo's referring to, but almost one of their birthdays. So that's always nice.
Oh, well, we'll find out, and we'll give him a happy birthday shout out, John. After this game, of course, when we get back into the lobby, we'll find out whose birthday it is.
Yeah, and maybe we could get a reaction from March. He is Harry Potter.
True.
He was the centerfold today. I thought he'd be overjoyed. He'd give me the smiley again. But he's just ignored it.
I think March secretly just hates you, but he just he looks at those memes every morning and he just almost vomits in his mouth every time, just like, oh John, not this guy again.
Oh, too bad, March. He's stuck with us for groups. That's what you get, March.
Even when he's head coach at T1 and he's not playing, John, we're still going to include him in every single meme we can.
Oh, of course.
It's March.
Of course. It is. Oh, man. We'll see how these lanes break out. Of course, you will have a Spectre Phoenix lane. Now, that lane doesn't sound particularly exciting. It's just the nature of Spectre, right? Even if you add a hero on top of it, It's not the most active here, and they did manage to deny Rune, so it's a 2-for-1 start. No, it's going to be an even 2-for-2, 3-for-1 start. So Cignal Ultra finding the edge in the Rune
Eris.
trade should set themselves up well.
That's a nice little play from Eris, John. I'm not sure if you saw that. He went for the skewer on Arbed to not allow him to get the block off, and that's going to give the advantage over to Jamesy on the DP. So the lane that's already going to be very difficult for the TA now even got even more difficult, as Jamesy is going to be able to hit level 2 prior to Arbed, and that'll mean he has the Spirit Siphon up to abuse on the second wave. Look at this, Arbed just can't stay in the lane right now because of that one play.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Avid. You can see him just clapping away. That's all he can do now. He is ready with an extra set of tangos, but he'll have to rip right into them as Jamesy's not giving him room to breathe. And this is going to be an issue. We talked about the TA. It doesn't want to play from behind. We're going to have to look at the supports to maybe build up stacks or get that rotation in at the 4-minute mark to relieve that pressure. But Abed's going to have to try to salvage that as the other lanes are still developing as well. Spectre, Phoenix lane, not that amazing. You're seeing Ares again just getting the positioning, looking for a skewer.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
March. Trying to run. March is going to go down. First blood will go to the way of Eris. Eris asking if he's kidding him. I don't know. March getting caught out. John, I think you may have put him in a bad mood this morning. You've ruined his day.
Oh, Marsh, I'm sorry, but still, really good place from Eris. He cuts that tree line, he goes for the skewer again, making this level 1 skewer work, and this is just the issue with Spectre Phoenix. It's not a very offensive lane. It takes a lot of EXP to get up and running, and they do hit their level 2 marks, but Van hits level 2 as well. He's got Gush and Anchor Smash ready, which means that every time IYD comes in for a last hit, you're just not contesting well.
Yeah, it's a hard lane for March. He's going to try and dish out harassment, but he's going to have to Icarus dive out. Eris with another nice skewer on the mag. It's making it very difficult for this Phoenix. In fact, he just chases him down and makes it even harder. Getting through all the regen of March. Very nice out from Eris. So it's down to the bot lane, Grims and Cuckoo up against each other. You'll see a bat there on the AM as well. Cuckoo not able to do much up against the AM, obviously, as he is going to be out of mana constantly. And Zephyr is also going to be there on the Tiny, but I dare say there's no point Zephyr even hanging around here. Looks like he will probably rotate between the bot and mid lane constantly. So there's really not much he can do up against this AM Snapfire lane.
It's a really tough lane. Dual melee against Snap is always bad. And the AM is not really pressured, as you mentioned, up against that Shaker. Cuckoo is stuck in a very bad spot. He's saving up for his bottle, but he's not finding last hits. He's not slowing down the AM. And they just constantly manage to get this farm on a bot. A bot is going to find some good timings in the Battle Fury. And on top of that, he still has the Empower from Eris that he could play with as well. So if Among Us don't reel in this lane, it's going to be a runaway start for Cignal. And that means a very active AM early on.
That it will. Mid lane, Arbed somehow found himself on top of the last hits board. So it looks like Arbed's caught up pretty well. He is, of course, jungling now as he doesn't want to contest the lane up against the DP. So he'll wait till the wave just pushes in into his tier 1 tower and come back and clear those out. It's the only way to play this matchup really for the TA. As you can see, Jamesy is going to pop the Spirit Siphon and burn through the refraction charges immediately. But Arbed is just ensuring he gets the wave before he has to leave. We might even have a rotation here from Zephyr. Looks like Eris was also there to try and secure the first power rune, but Jamesy is going to be able to go ahead and take it. Only thing is, he doesn't have a bottle anyway, so... Well, Eris actually had his bottle. Well, Eris just couldn't return it back in time, so Jamesy really gets nothing out of that power rune.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, and that just allows Abed, sorry, to go back to his jungle. Gosh, this is going to be a hard one, isn't it? Abed and Abed.
Especially with the
same
chat.
Game.
Chat's always comparing the two.
Whew. Gonna be a fun one, Mike. Gonna be a fun one.
It will be. Zephyr and Eris still just chasing each other around, running around in circles. It's like Cuckoo down to the bot lane is falling very low and probably will just die here to a bat. There you go, John. I screwed it up as well. Cuckoo trying to run, but Grim should have the Scatter Blast. In fact, he doesn't even need it. He's trying to give the kill over to a bat, but looks like the tower will take it, and the gold will be split. And top lane, Zephyr is also being chased around. Eris going to get the skewer off. Jamesy has the Siphon, but Zephyr is just going to TP away and be just fine. But overall, a very, very good start here for Cignal Ultra in this game number 1.
Yeah, it's still 2-0, 1k lead in their end. They're finding farm on their AM, although it has kind of slowed down. Abat's farm is actually not comparing to IYD. IYD is at 34-6 somehow, so our Spectre is still off to a very good start. Van just not doing as much as we'd expect. And they're constantly keeping pressure mid. You can see Jamesy drop low, which means Grims has to be here. Now Eris has to TP in with a bottle refill, which means the side lanes kind of free up, and that's actually working in favor for Among Us for now. They're somehow bouncing through because the supports are sort of tied in mid.
Well, nice little pull there from Cuckoo. I do like that. Even the Fisher, I believe he was trying to secure a range creep. Of course, with that Fisher being out, he blocks the creep wave from actually interrupting his own pull. Very high-level play there. Bat, try and clear that out as the wave does go towards Cuckoo. And this is not what you want, right, if you're Cignal Ultra. You know the Earthshaker should not be having a good time. Giving any CS to Cuckoo in this lane is definitely really bad news for Cignal. Even though Cuckoo is still very, very far behind, you don't really want to give him a way to catch up. Because the Earthshaker, all he really needs is a Blink Dagger to be effective. And, well, they're going to try and jump in right now, but March is going to TP in to make sure he doesn't die. Actually, a bat. Joe goes back in for a Mana Void, but the raindrops on Cuckoo will save his life. As he did end up on 110 HP just about. Had he not had the raindrop, he probably would have been dead.
Oh yeah, it's a close one. Abat playing on the edge, so is Cuckoo, but doesn't pay off. Still, our Shaker, I mean, he's been finding some CS. It's still 14-1 compared to our AIM's 39-18. So Cuckoo's going to have to find the farm for the Blink elsewhere. It looks like he might play in the jungle. Again, he's going to be sharing that jungle with Abed, and down mid, speaking of Abed, Jamesy's already committed the Exorcism. So slowly tickling away at that mid-tier 1, not finding a kill, although.
Oh, nice toss back from Zephyr. James, you're not going to be happy about this, but he'll go for the double siphons out, back onto Zephyr, and he does get the kill, but Abed does clean him up. Meanwhile, bot lane, March will end up dying to Abat on the AM, and well, overall, still a decent trade out for the side of Cignal Ultra. I don't think they're going to be particularly happy about the fact that Abed did get the solo kill, or the solo XP and gold off the DP. But apart from that, killing off 2 supports across the map is still going to be pretty nice.
Definitely is. The least is that your AIM's finding this farm, your AIM's building up into the battlefield really quick, so already has that Ring of Health, just working on to the 3 other parts. We haven't even seen Eris go in for the Empower on that AM, so this is all just Abad finding that farm by himself. And
nice rotation.
They're still finding kills.
That's a big one though, John. In your dream when the Spectre ends up going down. And Jamesy with the nice rotation out. Van had committed the Ravage for that. It's onto that tier 1 top tower. Meanwhile, down at the bot lane, Abed does end up getting the Snapfire kill. So they do at least get a support trade for themselves. Tier 1 top tower is still under siege. In fact, Jamesy is going to pop the ulti again. And I really do like that. He pops it as soon as it's off cooldown. And that's the way to play DP if you're going to play it. Just use it ASAP, be in position to get an objective. Don't waste any time. Treat it like a Midas.
Jamesy's just on point with that spell usage. Exactly what you'd want to see. Just getting the objectives out, and we always mention that when you're kind of playing that DP. Now, I think I heard Abat use his Mana Void
did.
on a camp.
Yeah, they do that these days, John, these AMs. They use it to farm, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not like Abat should be farming, should be fighting anyway. So
Yeah.
I guess if you're not looking to blow someone up, that's fine. Like he already failed at Cuckoo once. I guess he's traumatized enough to just use it for farming,
Absolutely.
having more impact.
I mean, it's efficiency, right? Like it's you can do it a tiny bit faster. You may as well.
That's true. This is where Among Us' draft also falls flat. You look at IYD down bot by himself, trying to shove that wave in and trying to push it's not a fast push here. Not until your TA gets Desolator, and Abed is opting for Blink first, of course. So it's going to be a while until Among Us can actually start to really pressure these towers. We also have the Haunt available, but you don't have Egg, you don't have a Blink on your Shaker, you don't have any good opportunities to just kind of go and fight right now. So this is a spell that Among Us is just going to sit on, and unlike an AM, you can't really use Haunt for farming efficiency.
Oh, look at this, John. Veil of Discord build on Jamesy. That's a new one. I haven't seen that on DP before, I don't believe, unless you're about to correct me here, but I don't mind it. Does really allow you to fight even more effectively early on. The stats are pretty nice as well, so there you have it. See if this works out for Jamesy.
We've seen a couple of times before.
Have we?
A long time ago when Veil was really, really good. There was one patch where it was absolutely dominant, and literally everyone was building Veil. We have seen it, but it's been such a long time for it, specifically on DP as a rush. Eul's just gives you so much more regen. You can play with your Spirit Siphon a bit better. In this case, though, what is there to purge off? There's no Orchid timing they're watching out for. There's no silences coming out naturally. It's a pretty good game to just be offensive. And I think Cignal understands that. As long as they play fast here, they can start to melt down IYD, and they are hunting him down.
That's a very good point. In your dream, going to be in trouble, and yeah, the damage is going to be pretty high with the Ravage out. Cookie there as well. A great pickup there from Cignal Ultra. Well, you saw the Veil with the Spirit Siphon. It's just a pretty insane amount of damage. I do like what I'm seeing here from Jamesy. And as well as that, I really like the fact that Van and Jamesy are both committing their ultimates off cooldown every time. Get an In Your Dream kill, get the tier 1 tower. Nice deny out from March, however. A very nice deny out from March. Nevertheless, you're still very happy if you're Cignal Ultra though. Top lane, Eris going to be jumped on and In Your Dream. Going to haunt in as the toss was coming in. They should still be able to pick up Eris on the mag, and they will. Abed the one to pick it up on the TA. But Cignal Ultra still definitely in control of this game.
Oh, for sure. 6-3, 2k lead on Cignal Ultra's side. They're starting to play with its AM with Empower, saving into the Battle Fury, so a bot's farm is just pretty ridiculous. I mean, you know, Abed is up there as well, but that's a TA, has the blink, and does clear out these camps with, you know, something that feels like Splash, feels like a cleave from a Battle Fury. So the fact that Abed is being allowed to build up like this, and I love seeing this as well. Eris TP's in, empowers Abed, then Abed just leaves for himself. So just the small efficiency plays that you've pointed out, right? Down from using Mana Void to farm, up to these movements for their Magnus. Cignal is really just trying to maximize this map as best as possible. And they're just waiting until these spells are back up. So JMC and Van are just farming up, no pressure because they don't have Ravage and Exorcism. This should be the moment where Among Us fights. It's just their lineup still needs to farm. Cuckoo, still about 200 gold away from his blink. And of course, Abed with his Desolator is still just about 1.6k away. So perhaps once you have that blink plus the Deso on Abed as well, you can start to look at fights. But for now, it's definitely Cignal Ultra's game.
Yeah, tier 1 mid tower not going to last long here, John. Van and Jamesy aren't going to be able to pick it up. Very nice. That's all tier 1 towers now down for Among Us. March as well going to get spotted and de-warded. Does at least get the Sentry Ward off Grims, but they got the Observe Ward, which is all they wanted anyway. This is why I talked about the draft looking a bit strange here from Among Us, John. It's just, they can't really fight back until they're like uber farmed up on In Your Dream. I suppose now with Cuckoo having the Echo Slam available, they could try to go for a smoke with the Blink Dagger coming out of the Courier. Maybe make a play with that. But even Cuckoo, I mean, he's level 9. He probably feels like he just needs to farm right now. His net worth is only sitting at 4.5k net worth, so it's not really too high. But no, they are indeed going to go for a smoke.
Have to be a bit careful. Ravage is up, RP is up once they have mana, and Exorcism's up. So if you catch them clumped up here, it might go the other way for Among Us.
It may. What are they even hunting for? They don't really want to pick up Eris, but it looks like they are just going to have to run into him, take him. You would have definitely preferred a bigger core. That is your support mag getting taken down, and Cignal Ultra, I don't think they'll mind that too much. They'll probably be okay with him going down instead of a core going down.
An interesting choice to smoke here from Cignal as well. It's just Grims and Van, but they are smoked up. They have a fresh blink under Tide. Now, Among Us does clear at bottom tier 1, but that gives Cignal information. They know where the players are. Maybe they catch one, but it looks like they're just going for a warden run, although...
Grims is coming in. TPs are there as well from Eris and our DP. Grims gonna spot somebody out. Bad. Just gonna get the Ravage straight onto In Your Dream. The Sunray is gonna be there from March, actually healing him up quite nicely. But here comes that Exorcism In Your Dream. He needs to fight back, I think. His teammates, though, they're not coming in. The RP only gonna catch March. But the Mortimer's Kisses do fly out. In Your Dream still in trouble, trying to run. Is still alive somehow, but will eventually go down to Jamesy. Crypt Swarm will be enough. The side of Among Us, they didn't really react to the fight. They tried to go for the mid tier 1 tower push. But the tier 1 tower was fortified. Abed is still going to try and get through it, but the rest of Cignal Ultra are coming in now to make sure he can't get this for free. And ultimately, you'd have to say that it's another big Cignal Ultra win.
They just use all their spells once more. The blink reveal on Van working out in the best way possible. You're also going to see Eris with a blink in the next fight. That fight gave him just enough to buy out his blink right now. So he's going to have it flying in soon. Magnus Blink RP is in play. Blink Ravage in play. It's going to be hard to fight into that.
Well, at least they might find Grims here on the Snapfire. In fact, they're going to ignore the snap and rather go for the Roshan attempt. So Among Us, maybe feeling the heat now, really need to pick up something off this map. But it looks like they realize it's happening. They're coming in. A toss is there onto that snap. Grims trying to get out, but will go down. And Among Us, they are back into that Roshan pit. But you do... No, you don't. I was about to say you do have a Ravage, but you do not. It's still on cooldown for another 50 seconds. Abed getting through it. There is blink potential. Egg is going to be somewhat early here, but Van is going to jump in to scout out. There's your Horn. The Egg is going to pop. In Your Dream will haunt in. Abed, he does pick up the Aegis, and now it's on to Jamesy. Nice mission round from Cuckoo to lock him down, and Cuckoo also commits the Echo Slam just in case. They do get themselves a very strong kill. That'll be it. With the Aegis now, they will try for a tier 1 mid-tower push.
It's good knowledge from Among Us, knowing that the cooldowns are still up on those big ults, and Cignal Ultra, when those ults are expended, they can't really fight well, right? Like, your aim's still looking to farm up. A bot is just using this time to work into that Manta style, but the rest of the team's just not ready. Now they have Ravage and RP, they could try to go.
Taking up Grims again. It looks like they are just wanting to get out of there. The side of Among Us, that is. And Bat, he's just happy farming and split pushing the lanes right now, and he does have the full Manta up. Everything's still going relatively well for Cignal Ultra, considering the circumstances. I'd say there's nothing to stress about for them. Zarbet maybe is farming a bit too well considering how his lane started, but the TA in theory should drop off later on. Especially when you are up against something like the AM, who just scales infinitely.
Yeah, it's a lot more tempo on Among Us, and they have to play fast, and IYD again.
In Your Dream? Didn't really catch that one, John, but looks like he did go down to the same thing, Exorcism and Ravage.
Yeah, it's still a good kill to get for Cignal. Like, you might say, yeah, Ravage is a long cooldown, it's just one hero. It's the one hero that really matters. You're keeping that Spectre away from farming. There's really not much IYD is building up into right now, tied up in farm, along with the DP, which is not where you want to be. So this game is becoming about Abed hitting his timings. I mean, he's got this Blink Deso. They need to get a little bit more from this Aegis, maybe find some more objectives. Abed is looking to secure the top tier 1, but that's not an objective Cignal Ultra cares for. They're just happily farming up. They still maintain a 3k lead, and Among Us need to look to make something happen when the Echo is back up in Cuckoo. They're going to have that in about 20. The Haunt's going to be available at the same time. they can look to make a play while that Ravage and Haunt is down.
Okay. See if they do, though. They are gonna find a DD rune, so if Abed could go and pick that up, it'd be a pretty nice way to go into a team fight. Abed looks like he is gonna blink for it. Doesn't really have the... Oh, he does have the bottle up. Just save it for another time. Bot lane, we will see Zephyr running at Eris. Eris just going to skewer away and does have the blink in a second if he can get it off in time. But no, the avalanche is going to be there, and Zephyr going to toss him up, and poor old Eris will try for the TP, but Cuckoo is going to have the Fisher out, and they spray. Beautiful. Magnifique.
Oh.
However, Jamesy even dying to Arbit down at the mid lane. So another big pickup here for the side of Among Us. That'll be 2 down for the side of Cignal Ultra.
And those are really big kills, like that death on Jamesy. Evens out the net worth down to just 1k of a difference. Really good double damage usage there from Abed as well. Thank you, Resurrection, for showing us. And they transition to the mid tier too. They've got the room to do that. The Fortify is forced out. They still hold the Aegis for about a minute. So there's a lot of room here for Among Us to force the fight. Now, Ravage is going to be back up. And once this DP is back up, Exorcism's going to be ready. They do have the Kisses and the RP. So you do have to watch your spacing here if you're Among Us. But Cignal Ultra looks like they're being a bit cautious in the back first.
They're going to jump in for a second. Just an anchor. Oh, Abed losing half his HP that quickly. Skewer not going to be there in time. Now, Cuckoo just jumps in with In Your Dream and takes down that tier 2 mid. Net worth lead has essentially disappeared. For some reason, there are raindrops on the floor right now as well. Not sure who that belongs to. Van gonna go for the Arcane Rune, but this may cost him. Not sure how worth it was, but he did get the bottle up at least. So he dies, but he's going to have that for the next team fight. Meanwhile, the back going to jump in after Abed now with the Heaven's Halberd. Abed does have the Aegis and wants to go for this team fight. He's looking for a way in. There's your toss out. Straight onto Jamesy, and Jamesy is going to die. In fact, Eris, he couldn't get the RP off. The Avalanche was there just the nick of time, and now they also get Eris. A bat, he's going to try and run. Abed does lose the Aegis eventually. And the bat, he's just going to have to blink away as In Your Dream will continue following him up. The bat does have a TP available if he needs it, and he will commit it.
I'm surprised with the Halberd pickup here for about rather early on. Like, there is a lot of damage here from Abed, but I think you were looking for your AM to have a little bit more damage on hand as well. To really try to rip and tear through that IYD Spectre. Now, it's still far behind, but this might give some openings. They should still be able to melt down that AM with focused magic damage. It takes a lot more because it is an AM, but they are focusing their spells fairly well here from Among Us. We'll see if Abad's build-up is going to play out in the end. They didn't manage to quite punish Abed for overextending, and Among Us now find themselves with a slight 1k lead. So the AM on Cignal Ultra's side is absorbing all this farm, but it is starting to come at the cost of their other cores. Jamesy and Van's farm have stagnated. They have not progressed as much, and it starts to become the AM show. So this investment has to pay off, and we talked about the issues in draft where, you know, some of these supports might want a little bit more farm. I think you want your Snapfire here to have the Ags upgrade down the line. You're going to want to bring that space out somehow and get that going for yourself, and kind of just need to find a space out now. And even Eris, right, on that Magnus, he has the blink, which is fair enough, but you need some aura items now here as well. Maybe a Guardian Greave down the line, maybe a pipe to help you tank through some of that burst damage. Should help out the cause if they can find that farm.
Well, back going to reveal himself up at that top lane now. Go for that tier 2 top tower. In Your Dream, happily going to walk in after him. He's going to be careful though. Eris around the corner there with Van. Dream preemptively opening up with the Blade Mail, but Grim's going to die straight away to Arbit, but there's a big Ravage up. Fanny's got 2 with the RP up there. Should be enough. And the Mana Void even coming up, and In Your Dream is going to survive, and now Arbit get to work back onto Jamesy. He's trying to survive with that Spirit Siphon, but he's probably not going to last too long. Or maybe he will. Cuckoo, the one going down, but does commit the Echo and does get the kill. But here comes the Bat back onto that Earthshaker. It is Chaos for a town from the side of Cignal Ultra. It's only a Bat left, and Abed gonna chase him up. Can he get the kill? The Yules will be there just in the nick of time for the Bat. That was probably the wrong time to use the voice line. He thought he was out of there. He was not.
Ooh. Cignal Ultra, that's their lead cleanly gone now. Among Us bouncing back, 4K in the lead. Really rather strange usage of that Heaven's Halberd. It was popped early, but they didn't really make the moves onto Abed. They focused elsewhere. Their combination did manage to catch Among Us off guard, but March is not the ideal. And IYD is fairly tanky. This is the issue I was talking about. Your AM is actually not doing as much damage because of this Halberd Manta buildup. It's a little bit more on utility and slipperiness, but you don't have the raw damage output to control the Spectre, and it's just difficult now.
Nice blink out. Oh, Eric's a great skewer back up, and he's going to pop the BKB. He'll kill off Grims. Now he needs to make a run for it, or maybe not. He's going to try and fight again up against Jamesy. Jamesy's falling low. He does get used up, however. Now Abed even lower, still trying to run, but March is healing him through all the damage, and now the egg going to protect his van. Needs to run. Jamesy getting even lower, and there's your meld strike Abed. He just doesn't die. Now Zephyr also killing off the Tide. And in your dream, giving them the wrong, just telling him how wrong they were. Abed puts the team on his back once again.
Oh, you love to see it. The confident pick on the TA. It had a slower start, but Abed was always kind of top 2, top 3 in network. They never contested that jungle, and that's something we said Cignal Ultra needed to get done. They kept eyes on IYD, but at this point, the Spectre is not really a major factor. All the Spectre needs to do is survive. It has been surviving. That is without the level 20 talent here as well. And once more, Among Us get to dive into Roche. There is an RP and Ravage, though, once Van is back in. So they could try to contest, but they need to move fast. They won't have time.
They need to move fast, and as you're saying it, John, the Roshan dies. Just way too quick with the TA. Well, they smoke up immediately, of course, understanding how strong they are now with a 10k net worth lead. He's only set to get strong on this TA. Just about to hit that peak. Does have the MKB up, going for the Daedalus build up on the TA. Want to fight right here, right now, even before that Daedalus is available. It's like a Bat is just going to split push the bottom lane and try to force them back, but it looks like the side of Among Us are going to send In Your Dream in to just sort that out. No problem for him. The rest of Cignal Ultra, they are just sticking in the base as well, so they know that Among Us are looking for a fight. They don't really want to leave this high ground right now, and I can't quite blame them. And John, to make matters worse for them, there is an Orb of Destruction now available if Abed does want it.
That's just beautiful. It's everything you could ever ask for here. A lot of damage that can fly through. Even the Quickening Charm is going to be nice for Among Us, especially if they do manage to get that say on.
Ooh.
I don't know. Cuckoo sounds good.
Cuckoo does get a great Fisher off a Bat. He just used that TB. He's going to try blinking away, but Cuckoo knows he cancelled off that TB, and a Bat still being followed is trying to blink away. But look at Cuckoo.
Oh, no.
He knows exactly where he is. He does commit the Echo. Abed's there. What a chase it was. Oh, they were just stalking him, John.
Oh,
disgusting.
That was like a horror film. You know, he's trying to run in the forest, but that killer just wouldn't give up, Mike, and Cuckoo. It's the dagger. The vision you get when you chase an AM, when the spectral dagger is there, the trail it leaves behind makes it so easy to figure out where that AM is, and Cuckoo just knew the pattern. He knew where he'd go. Game sense is kicking in, and Among Us, nice big kill. That's keeping this AM even further down, not in the spot where he wants to be, falling behind Abed. They lose a tier 2, and the high ground is now very open for Among Us to look at. They've got the Aegis, they've got the cheese, they've got all the options on hand. High ground is going to be ripped through here.
Yeah, well, without buyback on that AM, things are going to be pretty tough. It's not like they'd want to buy back anyway, but you are almost guaranteed to lose one lane of racks now. Mortimer's Kiss is going to be out. BKB popped very early by Cuckoo. Perhaps expecting the Ravage to fly in, but it never came out from Van. That'll be it. Among Us, they've lost their creep wave. They don't want to wait around too long. They are just going to get out of there and just keep the lanes pushed in. No real reason to rush for them, as there's so much more farm to be had for In Your Dream. He's nowhere near his peak on the Spectre yet. So Cignal Ultra, they've got a lot to worry about later on anyway.
Oh, definitely. And they pull out at the perfect time because Abed just flies out his Daedalus. So he's going to be melting right through, and look.
Yeah, he even loses his courier to the side plates. Oh, that's a real shame.
Yeah, that's the fresh Daedalus, Mike. You get a couple of good hits, the Orb of Destruction as well. That's a Tide Hunter. It's supposed to be tanky, but it's not. It just melts. Abed. Terrifying now, and this is why you don't let that TA free farm. They were hunting IYD, but they left that jungle all alone, and Abed was just completely fine with that trade.
Oh, Abed jumping straight onto Grims, almost just one hits him. They do get the kill, and now it's onto Eris, who tried to skewer him back. Can't really do that though, as Abed will just hit you. James is gone now as well. Oh, this is looking real tough for Cignal Ultra. They're going to try and buy it back. Heaven's Halberd is out onto Abed. He will just turn back around, but the Mana Void does do a lot of damage. He will respawn with the Aegis, but Van moving in for the Ravage, or maybe not. The Avalanche will buy time for Abed, but there's your RP now through the BKB. They want to try and kill this man off. Abed wanting to run, but he's been left behind, and he will die into the Ravager. Van on the back lines. They do kill off March. They'll go after Cuckoo now. Cuckoo trying to run with his BKB, but a Bat will follow him up. Excuse me. And, a rather tough team fight. Abed dies. Among Us just need to get out of there.
Yeah, it was a strange set of events there. Cuckoo could not blink in. He was just waiting in the back. There were some moments, especially during that Aegis respawn, where he could have gone in, get the Echo Slam off. He might have been looking for an even bigger one, but he had at least a 2 to 3 man Echo on hand. And with that kind of bounce back in, Cignal, they're going to set their eyes down an objective, trying to go for that tier 2. The issue is the creep wave's a bit too far behind. They have this Abyssal now up on Abad, so he can take control. This is the added damage, added control we were looking for. It's just that the objectives are holding out for a bit longer, so they might be able to find a tier 2. The high ground not so clear as the respawns are starting to wind in.
Oh, In Your Dream going to TP in, but Van going to spot him out, and now the Mortimer's Kisses are going to be there. In Your Dream, he'll pop the Blade Mail. Now Bat going to jump onto Cuckoo, draining a lot of mana, but he has got the BKB out. Cuckoo trying to fight back now, commits the Echo Slam, and Bat, he cannot blink out in time. On to Grims. Ghost Scepter is going to be there, but they have plenty control for the Snapfire. They'll be able to get the kill. 2 down, and there's no buybacks available on those 2 heroes. Abed respawns now, and he'll just join his team. I believe we are going to have to see some creep skipping happening. Eris? Oh, Eris.
Ooh.
Trying to go for the courier, misses out and just TPs. We saw that, Eris, don't you worry. We got it on camera. Abed gonna go on to Van. Nice toss back there from Zephyr. Van will die. No buyback. In fact, Abed back in onto Jamesy, and that's a 1k crit. Abed is cosplaying PA for Halloween, John.
That he is, just ripping right through him. They leave behind a range racks in the end because they don't want to look at it fall onto the tier 4s. And Cignal, the best they'll have is a 3-man defense because those respawns on the Tide and the DP are way too long. And even then, once this AM's up, they're going to lose the tier 4s. Maybe they feel like the Ancient's going to hold out, but they've got to do something here.
Yeah, I mean, they do, but the Ancient's falling. Eris, he's panicking. He'll go for a big RP into the skewer back, but he doesn't reach the fountain. He doesn't reach the fountain.
No.
Oh, so close yet so far. Oh boy.
That was...
It would have been amazing. Oh, it was a good RP. It would have been pretty darn amazing.
Are you seeing this font change as well?
It's very nice, John. It's a nice font.
It is nice. I'm just visually shaken that I wasn't visually prepared for that information. Still, Cignal, really valiant effort. An interesting set of drafts from both sides. I mean, props to Cignal, right? They ran this draft based on cooldowns. They managed to make it work spectacularly well, and they brought out a lot of early fights, but they didn't really bring in um the control in the jungle that we were looking for, and that's really what costed them. They just let Abed free farm. It became a massive issue at the end, and they just couldn't keep up.
With that, of course, we do move on to game number 2, which will be about 10 minutes away. It's MLP Dota on JohnXFire. We'll see you all again very, very soon for that second game.